Hello and welcome to another episode of Ghazali on Goa's favorite channel, Prudent. I'm excited for today. We have with us a lady who has really done it all. She is a photographer of international acclaim who has dared to break away from the traditional and to create something unique. I'm talking about Dayanita Singh, and a very, very warm welcome to you. At the beginning, maybe begin by asking you, how did this journey start? This journey as a photographer, as a person?
Actually, it started like everything in my life quite by accident. I was studying to be a graphic designer and a typographer at National Institute of Design. And I had to do an assignment, and I went to photograph Zakir Hussain because I thought it would be an easy assignment. And someone pushed me and I fell in front of the audience and I was very angry. And I waited outside and Zakir came out after the concert and I said, "Mr. Hussain, I'm a young student today. Someday I'll be an important photographer and then we'll see," and burst into tears. And that was it. And I realized, yes, I could be a photographer because at that age you could be anything. And I thought, this is it. This is my ticket to freedom. I can be who I like, I can go where I like, I don't have to follow any of the social rules for women at that time. So that's what I did, and that's what I value the most about what I do, is my freedom.
And how did Zakir Hussain react to that at that time? Do you remember?
I recently did an exhibition in London and he is at the center of the exhibition and I made a shrine of images for him. And I don't know what Zakir saw in me, but he said, "It's not a problem, have some water, next time get permission beforehand, but if you want to photograph me, you know, I'm playing tomorrow again." And I sat up that whole night to do, not to do, and then Zakir became my guru. He's my true teacher, maybe not in the technicalities of photography, but in how to approach life, about how to focus, about rigor, about never being satisfied, always wanting to push the limits. So that's how he responded. He didn't teach me tabla, but he really made me say, if this is what you've decided, you put everything into it, and it's what you do all the time, regardless of whether you have your camera in your hands or not, like he does with his music.
Yeah. So the first time you were doing this photo shoot was as an assignment for this college, or was
in the college you had to do something on the moods of a person. Just a small little assignment. And I thought, why not go and photograph Zakir Hussain, because he makes so many faces when he plays, and then I can take the night train to Bombay and push off, you know, while the rest of the students are still slogging on their assignment. So it wasn't meant to be anything so dramatic.
But there you are.
And I must thank the man who pushed me. Because if he hadn't pushed me, if I hadn't fallen on my back,
you would probably still be.
I would have taken the pictures and gone.
Graphic designer or something
exactly,
like that. Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. And I was looking at some of your works. A lot of them are in black and white. Why do you like? Do they portray something more?
You know, it's like there are certain things you might speak about in English, and some things you might say, no, this is best nuanced in Konkani. And no, this is really something I want to explore in Hindi. It's really that. It's the language that you feel suits what you're doing at that time. That's the main reason.
But you're really able to get things to life. Like I was looking at the file room.
Yes.
I wouldn't think anybody would think of that as a subject for a photograph, and yet it's amazing. What kind of made you reach for your camera when you saw that?
I think it's all to do with what's in your head and not what's in front of your camera. So we have to get away from the idea that photography is about what you see. It's not. It's about what you think and how best you inform what you think. So it's the books you read, the people you're in conversation with, the music you listen to. So if you listen to a lot of Indian classical music, it gives you a certain approach. If you read a lot of Calvino, it shows you that there's no fixed form for a narrative, that each narrative can suggest its own form. So I think what you are perhaps referring to comes into my work really not because of what I photograph, but how what is in my head at that time.
And probably all the emotions.
Exactly.
And
So I think I could do that. It would happen now with whatever I photograph, no? Even with these plants. Because I wouldn't just photograph the plants. I would somehow be drawn to them because of a certain book that I was reading or a certain music that I was listening to. And slowly, with a lot of rigor that I learned from Zakir.
My God.
You know, it's 18 hours a day. You never stop. I don't have a camera in my hand, but I'm very aware of what the light is doing to you right now, the sound of the air conditioning, where the light is bouncing from. And if I had known your name before, I would have done some research about you. Then I might have asked you questions as well. It's just about being curious about the world.
And bringing it to life, the way you kind of infuse.
Yeah, that is the, you know, because I have such a great language. You know, this photography is like a language. And I'm just lucky that I have this language, but I'm also lucky because I know it's not enough. It's not enough to say I speak English, no?
Yes, to master it and poetry.
To say, yes, am I a poet? Am I a writer? Am I a biographer? Am I a screenplay writer? You know, there are so many different ways of looking at literature. I would say we have to start thinking about photography like that, because it's just words. If you give me your phone, I will find 10 beautiful images on your phone.
Yes.
So I think just making beautiful pictures is just not enough. So making beautiful words is not enough. How do you string that whole thing together? What do you leave out? What you withhold? When you talk about black and white, actually black and white also really helps you withhold. It doesn't tell you the full story. And then if you meter it in a certain way, I can make this very plain situation look like a murder scene. You know, because it's how you, like your cameraman can do that. He can make me look kind and compassionate. The lighting man can make me look like a monster. I'm the same person. I'm sitting in the same chair. But they can do that. They may not do it right now, or they may do it, I don't know. But it's how you approach something, no?
Yes, and when you think of photography, mostly it is capturing an image as it is.
Right.
But the way you're talking about it, it is much more to that. It kind of is a story and putting that on.
Absolutely. You know, there are too many images in the world. I don't know the numbers, but I think it's 1.2 billion images or some, I don't know, some terrible number of images that are produced all the time. So, which only leads us again to say that it's just words. We're just making lots and lots of words. It's not enough.
Stringing them together into a poetic.
Exactly. And like even if you write something, you have to edit it, no?
That's true.
You have to ruthlessly throw things out and build a narrative. And with those same images, you can tell a complete story. Or like Michael Ondaatje, you can say, I'll tell it up to a point, and then I leave it to your imagination. And black and white helps me leave it to your imagination. That's true.
Now, you work in the traditional way of photography. You don't have all these modern things of Photoshop and stuff like that. No,
I use film. I have my camera.
Your own black and
white.
Dark
I don't process the work myself, the films. I send it to a lab. And I like this. I like the fact that I have to bring this up. You know, I have to focus. It's a manual focus. I have to fix the
speed and
the shutter, the aperture. Then I have to decide where I want to focus. What is the situation I want to highlight here? This room is overlit from my point of view. So I have to underexpose it to make it interesting from my perspective, you know. For TV, you might need something like this,
Yes.
but not for my
Not
photos.
for your photo. But how do you feel with the new technology coming where you just take a picture, you add color to it, you do something?
You know, this has always been the problem in photography, and is much more heightened now, that photography is instant gratification, both for the maker and the reader. So you look at this photograph and you say, oh, I see, that's Sousa with the painting, I see that was his room, he looked out of the window, got it, next. It's too quick, and so it comes and it goes. And how is it going to have something more lasting? And I think now, because this medium makes it even more instant, it's a big challenge for photography. And I'm not even sure that I'm not sure what it means anymore to be a photographer. I think you have to do much, much more to do something with that photography.
But the sad thing is that you don't even, if you go to a shop now to buy film, it's difficult to get it.
Yes, and most people are not printing their images.
No, they are not.
So they are,
Facebook.
maybe 0.1% is printing images. The rest is just using it to send to each other.
Yes.
So what does that do to our biography? What does that do to our history? And what happens when your grandchildren don't update that hard drive? That means all their parents' photos that you've taken with the digital camera,
It's all lost.
it's gone.
And creativity is absolutely down.
Well, I think the creativity will come in the form, no? It will come in how you edit and how you choose and what size you want to make the images and what you put next to what. Like, I wouldn't hang this room photos and then paintings. I would have actually done it quite differently, and I would have brought a lot more of the paintings or the pen drawings in between the photos. I might have taken some of his book covers and put those in to make things more interactive.
Yes.
And I think photography very soon will become like, as many artists have already done, using it like charcoal, you know. It's a medium.
Yes.
I don't think it's not enough to celebrate it on its own, especially now. Everybody here in Alteen is making pictures.
Yes.